I knew that if we dropped the camera, I knew if we dropped the camera on our next guest that she would be dancing, because what else would Francesca Fiorentini be doing? Francesca is an American journalist, a political commentator and comedian, and she is also the host of a podcast. Rebecca, what's the name of the podcast?
The podcast is called Dun Dun Dun, The Bituation Room. Okay, The Bituation Room. Let's say it with your chest. The Bituation
I'm not going to say it.
Bituation.
I'm not going to say it because somebody's going to clip just the first part of it and say Ben called somebody that. So that said, Francesca, thank you for joining us. I know it is super early over there.
Oh yeah, no, but at 7 a.m. I do wake up like that. Just I don't know what he was saying, but it sounded like he was gaslighting a woman. He was gonna leave a woman. There was a little bit of gaslighting in that song. I'm not gonna lie.
A little bit.
Great song still. Right?
You're not supposed to listen to the lyrics. You're just supposed to vibe and not realize they're talking about.
Too.
It's almost like Earth, Wind, and Fire Reasons. Like you start listening to what they're saying in some of those songs, you're like, wait a minute, I don't know if I agree with this.
Here he go again with his misogyny.
Good.
Here he go again. And I love this song, but here he go thinking that she ain't going to be, listen, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So Francesca, first of all, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. I'm batting cleanup. You guys have fixed everything, right? You've solved and hashed out it all. And
well, the only thing we solved is our internet connectivity problems today, but the problems with America, we have yet to solve, and I don't know that it's going to get solved in our lifetime, but yet and still we do this, and I wonder if you do this through comedy to help you like kind of process the kind of stupidity that we have to deal with.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's if I had a dinky internet show. Now I have a still dinky internet show. My life is dinky internet shows. But the point is my very first was something called Laugh Not to Cry. And it was just me and a green screen. Not too different from, again, what you're seeing now. But you have to laugh in order not to cry. And I think especially as progressives, people on the left, we get into trouble when we start taking everything so seriously. And then it's like you've crossed this even just a personality Rubicon where you're like, oh, I hate myself. Oh, this is, I mean, everything's really real. We should take things seriously, but understand the stakes, but also be able to laugh and be able to laugh at ourselves more than anything.
Yeah. That's honestly why we're doing what we're doing in the way that we're doing it, because as we cover the news from Syria to everywhere else to the $15 an hour, we'll talk about that in a minute. It gets to you. So sometimes you do have to laugh for not crying. And I vaguely remember that series. I want to ask you, let's talk about let's talk about the fact that we can't even get $15 an hour. Right, in the year of our Lord 2021, when the minimum wage should be somewhere around $25 an hour, we are being gaslit. Speaking of gaslighting, beautiful song, right? The gaslighting that was taking place there. I feel like we're getting gaslit by Joe Biden and some of our leaders. What's your take on this $15 an hour parliamentarian issue?
I love when progress is held up by someone you didn't even know existed, just like some random rule. I don't know. It's very much like, I don't know. It's like you go to a restaurant and they're like, oh no, we have mozzarella sticks, but like we're out of, I don't know, the cook is on a break. And you're like, okay, can someone else make them? I don't know. I'm thinking of a very silly example, but it's just a technicality. It's like, I just watched Ford versus Ferrari, and remember how sorry, spoiler, he wins, but he comes in second because of a technicality. And I was like, it's just what is this parliamentarian doing? And why could we overrule them when Trump wanted to pass a $2 trillion tax plan? Because that's exactly what happened. Basically, they were, Republicans were like, oh, parliamentarian says we can't use budget reconciliation to, push through this tax break and try to chip away at the ACA, which is what they wanted to do. Okay, we're just gonna override you. I mean, we don't care. I don't even think it was a news item. We didn't even hear about that because it was one of the, at that point, like the 30th norm and rule and regulation that the Trump administration had skirted. Now, I'm not saying we repeat that. Of course, if we were on MSNBC, someone would be like, well, we shouldn't be like Trump, but we should when it comes to passing a $15 minimum wage. We absolutely should in the middle of a pandemic.
In the middle
of a pandemic.
Go ahead.
You said something totally like, okay, this is my thing. Trump is still trash. That doesn't change anything, right? But he was onto something right there. The fact that they can't even pass $15 for us means that the people still mean nothing. Biden had, like I said, he ran his campaign with the whole guise of I'm that guy, I'm that man, I'm the one that can protect you guys from what you guys had before. Yep. I'm your grandfather. I'm your friend. I'm the one that was right beside Barack Obama. And literally he gets in office after he's saying he's going to do these things immediately and listen to us. And he's just like, listen, I'm still that guy, but I'm not going to do that for you. Can I still get love? Can I still, but it's like, so yeah. So this is, so when you say things like, $15 an hour under Trump, all of those things, that would have worked for us better than what is being proposed to us now. Right. That's real. And this is where our mindset should be, is holding them accountable, but also saying, yo, those policies, those rules, those plans are things that can work for us. We can still utilize that. No matter who it came from, we got to be honest. We got to say that works better for the people. And what we're getting now from just because a likable person, it's BS. It's BS.
Yeah, Democrats love to play by these random parliamentarian rules in a party, in a system that basically has been set up for one party to completely skirt those rules, and a bad faith party like the Republicans to completely skirt those rules. And then when Democrats are in power, they're like, oh no, but we've got to abide by them. And it's almost like they also are paid by the same lobbyists and don't really want to help the working class out. But hey, that's, I'm not going to say that they're paid to lose necessarily, but they're exact same. They're not. The other thing is, I do think, look, Kamala Harris was chosen as vice president for a reason. And this is a moment where she needs to pull her, I was that little girl who was sent to school, who was bused to school. And your policies affected me. Kamala needs to pull that, because actually the vice president does have a role to play in this budget reconciliation. She can step out and overrule this parliamentarian BS. I don't know if you guys have already talked about that, but I'm like, do it, Kamala. Like, this is the point. The point is not just to be a smiling face. You're not the Joe Biden of vice presidents. You know what I mean? Like,
not in this moment.
You don't do the pancake breakfasts and, just smile and have your daughter be a model, or your stepdaughter be a model. Like, it just, no, do something, be a leader. And we want to see that. I think,
Listen, no, Francesca, you are here, you are in the house, and I'm feeling it, mama. Listen, I've been saying this for the last few days, all week. Kamala, sorry, let me make sure I get it right. Kamala, ma'am, sis, listen, I get it. Like I said, you're Black. I get it. You wear Timbs and Chucks. I get it, right? I get it. You are an HBCU grad. That's stuff that I love, right? I get it. You crossed AKA. It's beautiful. In this moment, ma'am, this is the people that need you. Yeah. There are people that need you, that need you to speak up. This is the time, because you too, just like Joe Biden, ran your campaign on these things that you said you were going to do, and we don't see anything. Ma'am, you've been missing. Texas has been like, there's a state out there that was literally under snow, where people were dying, freezing to death. This was literally happening. Where were you? Where are you guys? Kamala, we literally put you on a cloud, ma'am, and you are nowhere to be found at all. Pull up, ma'am, pull up.
I'm actually really surprised. Sorry, on the Texas thing. Like, you guys have talked about that no one from the administration, neither the president or vice president have been there. And that's like, you're right. It's a perfect opportunity for Vice President Harris to show some leadership and to get there and to do the things that I feel like, if Biden, stay home, I don't care, but get on an Amtrak. You could beat the storms. Get there.
He can take the train. He loves riding that train. The thing about it is, like, we're in this. It's not a weird space for you, me, Rebecca, but it's a weird space for well-meaning Democrats who are like, we can't possibly criticize Joe Biden. It's too early on. Well, Joe Biden is making some moves pretty early on. Donald Trump didn't do his first airstrike until, was it April? Joe Biden beat the curve. He's doing it already in February. Right. And now they're reneging on all their deals that they promised us. But what do you, in terms of like your commentary and your space and what you do, are you running into the same thing? Because when Rebecca mentioned that the other day, Rebecca, I don't know if you saw the comments, people were like, oh, leave Kamala alone. No.
I didn't look at it, but I already knew it was there. That's why I say I'm going to make y'all mad. But this is the truth of the matter. Where is she? She ain't helping you, sis. She ain't helping none of y'all. Talk about it.
I mean, I'm still in my home and I wish I could interact more with people. And I think if I could, I would definitely not talk politics with them right now because I just want to hang. But
I get it.
For sure, there is a lot of like, we've restored the dignity. And like, we all know like this, I think we have. And I think some Democrats understand this. For sure, the squad does. For sure, folks like AOC, Ayanna Pressley, et cetera. But like Schumer, he said things like we need to deliver big for the American people or else. But this is the thing. We have 4 years to stop a smarter fascist, whether it's Trump or somebody else, from saying, look, the Democrats didn't deliver. And the way that they can is by stymieing progress like this. Republicans can, and this has been their plan all along, ever since under Obama, right? And we know that. And Obama, again, playing by these bipartisan rules that did not apply, especially when that was the year that dark money was flooding into this Congress, right? And flooding in all these interests, the AstroTurf Tea Party movement. So when are we going to understand the other side does not want to hold hands with you? They don't want to discuss or deal with you. You're not going to say anything that's going to make them try to, to be, okay, hey, that's a good deal. No, they don't want any of that, right? And then same with our side, right? You've got Manchin and Kristen Sinema. So if you can override this, do it. Because guess what? When you deliver for the American people, by the way, there was a New York Times article that said Trump voters like the $1.9 trillion stimulus. Trump voters are into that much money, right? And so the jury isn't out. The Republican politicians, guess what? They are out of touch with their base because that fake populism that Trump tapped into, that could be real populism, right? That could be real democratic reforms. And so I think that we've got this time. We've got this like not even grace period. We've got no grace period. Right. But we've got this minimal window to say, let's deliver for the American people so we can prevent actual fascism from coming back. Because people are chomping at the bit to deliver that. And, if Biden wants to be the most progressive president since FDR, then you got to think bigger than that. You got to think bigger than, well, I don't think this is going to pass because of the parliamentarian. Like, at what point has anyone used the word parliamentarian to discuss like American democracy?
At what point has that ever been an impediment for any serious president, right? The thing about it is there's a clip that we have from Ro Khanna, and there are a handful of people who are pushing back against this. And most of them are the progressives, right? Honestly, I think it's probably all progressives. AOC spoke out against it. I saw Jamal Bowman. I saw Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley. All of them spoke out about it. And I want to play this clip from Ro Khanna so that we can see what he had to say about it.
The bill is not going to go through, as Joe put it, a do-nothing Republican Senate. We have to still work to get this through reconciliation. Look, we're in an amazing place in American democracy that 32 million Americans are being denied a raise because of a decision of an unelected parliamentarian. She has an incredible integrity. She's not to blame. The problem is the system. And there are progressives who believe that the vice president should do the same thing that Vice President Rockefeller did, Vice President Humphrey did, in not accepting the advice of the parliamentarian. So we believe we need to still push for systemic reform to get this through.
So he's not by himself, right? There's plenty of people who are saying the same thing. You've said it this morning. We've said it this morning. The question is do you think Kamala's going to actually do something about this?
No. That's all I got for you. And the only reason that I say no is because we already know her history. And a lot of people, just like I said, we did the Obama thing when it came to Kamala. We looked at her and said she was black, and that was enough for us to, and she's a woman, which those are beautiful things and those are historical, but historical things are not going to help us right now. during this pandemic. It's not going to help the nation right now when it comes to these social injustice issues. That ain't helping, sweetie. So we need her to step up in this role as we thought that she would because she was Black or because she's Native American. Any one of those. Like, we thought that she was going to step into that. But there's so much more. We have to keep holding her accountable. And people keep saying, she's just the vice president. She's the vice president.
This is her shine.
She has this is a job, sis. We didn't just want her because she was cute. We didn't just want her because the way she was like, we did it, Joe. That was cute, viral, but we need you to do the work. She has a job to do. She has the same way that she made sure. Go ahead.
So, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, it's a little bit racist and sexist to say, now she's just the vice president. Yeah, her race and her gender are super important when she's running. Add that to Joe Biden. But if you only saw her as for her race or for her gender and not for her record, some of which is not great when it comes to progressives, but like her tenacity in the Senate, her leadership, her ability to step to someone like Joe Biden on a national stage, like, that's why you want her as your running mate. That's why you want her in the office. You need her to prop this, weekend at Bernie's, i.e. I wish it was Bernie, president up, like, we need her leadership for sure.
That would take some serious, and I think she has it, right? Because, I mean, let's think about back in the debates. She was the first person to really stand up and give Joe Biden hell then. And if Joe Biden is going to continue to use this excuse, this is where Kamala can distinguish herself as an individual, as a politician, and as a leader to say, I have my own authority. And this is the exact spot for this authority to shine. I don't want to harp on that story alone, but it's a really important one because this is going to actually pave the way for Democrats to get demolished in 2022, right? And get devastated. Donald Trump might actually get reelected in 2024 because Republicans haven't gotten rid of him. So speak to just the idiocy of the strategy, right? Like the using this excuse is literally going to be detrimental to the Democratic Party. If all they're worried about is power, this is a move that's going to damage their power. Meanwhile, I don't know if you saw the video, Pete Buttigieg they're putting videos of him up because he's riding his bike to his office instead of doing a car ride to his office. Like, woo, like nobody cares about that. People need checks and they need $15 an hour.
Yes, biking, the thing that was invented, I think, and like with that fad in like the 70s, it's like, it reminds me of like Anchorman's jogging, like, suddenly jogging's good for the heart. Biking is good for the climate. Like, really, what year are we in? Like, we're beyond, we all need to bike to work. We're way beyond that. So, I mean, I will say though, I don't want to talk about Kamala too much, but I do just want to say that if Biden is supposed to be a transitional president, supposedly to Kamala's eventual run at the White House, then she should, and she needs to stand out. She needs to show leadership because if people are going to rally around her, either in 4 or in 8 years, she needs to have something to show for that. She needs to say, actually, I pushed this president when you thought I wouldn't, or when he said, A, I said B, and we came to C, or whatever it is. Like, that's going to be super important for her. If she doesn't want AOC to, run against her and probably win, we'll see. But I keep on going back to when, Democrats had Congress and they used, a technicality basically to pass the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. And I think my problem with that was not the fact that they used a technicality or that they barely, slimly pushed that through. It's that the ACA was crap. It's that it's helped a lot of people, but it did not have a public option. And I don't know about anyone listening, but I'm paying through the nose for healthcare on the marketplace. It is expensive. It is a luxury item. It's a lot of money. And I'm on the bronze, like I'm not even silver.
Girl, you on the bronze? Wow.
You got money.
You got money. You ordered a double, girl?
There's like a corrugated metal, there's like corrugated roof, there's tin, copper. What else? Like, it's not easy to get healthcare. And what I'm saying is that if we had not bent the rules, but use a technicality to pass something that
Yes.
was really transformative,
Yes.
like I think a $15 minimum wage would be transformative, then that is what I think we need to fight for. The problem with the ACA was that once they got rid of the single payer option, a lot of the movement, the social movement that was supporting Obama, was like, oh, okay. And a lot of the movement around the single payer healthcare plan, it didn't rally the base. And so you've got to give the base something. Don't just use us when it's convenient, man. Like
Right.
give us something so we can come out, so we can like go to bat for you, so we can show up for you if you want us to show up for you.
No, that's a point, because we have nothing to show up. We really, at this point, if people want us to show up for Biden and Kamala as we did when they were campaigning, and folks like me who was just like, I don't want to, but I need to, because this is going to be a better opportunity, and what he's saying and what they're promising is going to help me. So at this point, I'm like, what else can I do? What else can I say? I can't, because you guys are not giving us anything to work with. You're not showing us anything. You're not allowing us to rally around folks to get them to understand why they should be supporting you. Because it ain't like, if it was about the $15, that could be something, that could be a conversation I have with family members who were doubting what you were going to do or anything. If it was about the stimulus check,
Right.
that could be something I had a conversation with people who were doubting you, but I ain't got nothing. And where's Waldo? Where is Kamala Harris? We just, at this point, there's nothing that we can say at this particular point in this particular week on this Good Friday. There's nothing that I can say to support those two at this moment.
Yeah. And that's going to be the kicker, Fran. That the kicker is that we literally, in less than a month or however many days they've been in there, now no longer have any reason to support them, except for those people who are comfortable saying, well, he's not Donald Trump. I get it. He's not Donald Trump. I voted against Donald Trump. I voted for Biden because we need to get rid of Donald Trump. But I mean, you got to give us something. We don't have a check. We don't have we're dropping bombs in Syria, by the way. We don't have $15 an hour. And now we're using all these excuses. Fran, we only have a few minutes here, and I want you to get the last word on this particular topic. But like, at what point, man, are these folks going to actually realize that they need the people, right? I think Democrats feel like all they need to do is not be Republicans, but that jig is up.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad to say this, and maybe people will be mad at me for saying it, but I feel like, just like I think Democrats have to rise above some of the Republican BS and kind of be the better person and or fight like them. I think when it comes to the Democratic Party, progressives always have to handhold. It's the way that, women have to handhold men, people of color have to handhold white people, but they shouldn't. They shouldn't have to. But there's a lot of hand-holding that needs to happen, because at the end of the day, we need these establishment do-nothing Democrats to actually do something. Like, we don't have yet a system where we can outnumber them, where we can strong-arm them. We don't have an actual parliamentarian system that, man, I wish we had, where, the squad could be in its own party. And then we could see who's captivating the audiences, who's bringing out the voters, right? Because it's not the centrists, it's the grassroots people of color. It's, we know who has actually done this. So I think we have to not imagine that we've already asked. We have to make sure, and there are people fighting every day. There are people out on the streets, whether it's around a Green New Deal and the Sunrise Movement, whether it's Justice Democrats, whether it's Fight for 15 and all of the, the fast food workers who consistently and have been leading this charge for so many years now, to the point where, again, it should be 20, 25. But these are the folks who have to be lifting up and making sure, that we're continuing to call on them, and we're continuing to knock down their doors. We're supposed to be making calls to voters. We should just make calls right into the White House. I mean, we need calls right into the Congress, right? Like, let's make sure we understand who we're actually pressuring here, because the voters did their job.
The voters did their job. Clip that and put that on. The voters did their job, and now it's time for them to do their jobs. Fran, who do you have coming up on your podcast that I won't say the name? Rebecca, what's the name of the podcast again?
The Bitchuation Room.
Who do you have coming up this weekend?
A very funny comic, Baron Vaughn, and Alex Vitale, who is a professor, writes all about policing and can they be reformed? What do we do? Why can they not be reformed? remake them. So yeah, Alex Vitale and Baron Vaughn, so good. So that's Sunday night, 6 o'clock Eastern. No, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. It is 7 in the morning here.
It is 7 in the morning over there. Thank you for getting up so early to hang out with us. Everybody who's watching, please go to her channel and subscribe. And we would love to have you back anytime you want to come.
Oh my gosh, Ben, Rebecca, it's been such a pleasure. Anytime.
Absolutely.
Yes, I love it. So, and then, look, you come on here, I come on to the Bituation Room. We have a good old time. We party it up.
Get somebody over there to say,
we enjoy ourselves. That'll be really good. Francesca Fiorentini, beautiful name, by the way. And
beautiful pronunciation.